Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another first impressions video. In today's first impressions video, we are taking a look at my brand new Thunder Ranch Mossberg 930. There are no sponsors to the channel right now, so how you can help me out is commenting down below, hitting the subscribe button. All you're going to get on this channel is like 2014 style reviews. So if you're into that sort of thing, definitely hit that button. Also, I'm selling it hard these days, FF Lifestyle, my B channel. If you want to switch up your subscription feed, you need to just diversify it a little bit. I got everything over there that's non-gun related, from skateboarding, mountain biking, fitness, longboarding, vlogs, whatever you want to see, it's over there. And I'm so proud of all the videos that I put out over there. So hit that card up in the right-hand corner of your screen now. I would seriously appreciate you helping me out. All right. I know everyone is going to be feverishly commenting down below at my clickbaity title that is probably something along the lines of 1301 killer, question mark, exclamation point. I'm not trying to be that clickbaity guy, but look, come on, man. I'm below 50K. We got to do something these days to get the viewers in, all right? I'm really trying here. I'm trying not to, be totally clickbaity. All joking aside, I am genuinely like 60% serious in in that title about this 930. Holy hell, I love this thing. Spoiler alert. Okay, so the beauty of still working part-time at a gun shop is I'm still able to randomly get my hands on and purchase some of the used firearms that come into the gun shop. And that is one of the massive benefits of working at a gun shop. It's not just, the usual deals. It's primarily the used guns. And this came in used. I have never owned a Mossberg 930 before, but I've always been interested in them. It's just never really lined up. Like, it's one of those guns that I always see. They're always reasonably priced. I just never really, it just never really clicked. And then finally, I saw this Thunder Ranch edition pop up into the gun shop that I work at part-time for a really reasonable amount. I think retail $5.99 area, but of course, being an employee, I got it for significantly less than that, and significantly less than that, I think, is a steal for this thing. Now, the Thunder Ranch edition usually can be kind of seen by the good old, however the hell you say it, kiwi, whatever the hell type of gray, cool-looking camo this is. I really like, actually, the camo on everything I have. It's the same camo that I have on my Model 7 from Remington. And of course, it is marked with the Thunder Ranch edition on the side of the receiver. And in this case, this is the Breacher Thunder Ranch version. And all that means is you have a permanently affixed breeching device there. So the actual barrel is less than 18 inches. And then this obviously brings you a little over 2 inches permanently to get it to 18.5 overall. Now, the original owner of this put on what looks to me like one of the Nordic extensions, and this adds about 2 rounds, maybe 3, to the overall capacity. I believe the standard factory breacher option has a flush magazine tube. Now, I threw on this Magpul sling adapter that I'm trying out on this package. The Magpul sling adapter is for a Mossberg 500 or 590. And I didn't have any issues with this thing working on the 930 as well. Also, I have a Blue Force Gear black multicam sling, and the black multicam actually goes really well with that gray camo that's on here. Along with the Nordic extension, it looks like the owner put the GG&G follower in there. You guys really probably can't tell, but it is red. I threw on the Velcro for shotgun cards on the left-hand side. Something worth noting, there is a rather expensive GG&G side saddle mount for the 930s. It was like $100, and I'm just not really interested in spending that much before I knew how much I was going to like it. So I went the shotgun card route in this case, and these things were freaking Amazon special. because it was like a 4-pack, and for whatever reason, I couldn't find any of my freaking S-Tacs anywhere at all before this range day, so I got these on a good old 2-day shipping special, and they actually did really well, but you're not going to get away with any upside down shotgun shells in these. They're going to fly right out. The retention is all right, but it could be a lot better. But noticeably, they did stay flat the entire time, so that's kind of cool. And for the range, they worked out great. I always knew they were, you know, for the most part reliable. There were a few issues right out the gate when these things came out that had to be tweaked a little bit. But again, for the most part, the 930 has always kind of been that semi-automatic shotgun that everyone's like, yeah, they're all right. You know, if you only have 500, 600 to throw at it, it's going to be a pretty good, reliable shotgun. I was only able to find like one other review of the Thunder Ranch edition of this 930, so hopefully this video helps some folks out. It ate through everything. Stuff like super low brass white box Winchester target that choked up not only my 1301, but also my beloved Remington 1187. This thing just laughed at. It ate everything I put up into there, and it had about 200 rounds through it in this range day of miscellaneous shot and buckshot, low brass, high brass, everything. I was scattering the magazine tube of like low, high, low, high, all over the map, and this thing was eating it all day long. It took me a second to get back to remembering where everything is on a Mossberg with how many Remingtons I've been running lately. So there was one time where I limp-wristed the shotgun, and it was a mixture of that really low brass stuff, and I had one short stroke issue where I had to rack the action and get it back ready to go. But I was also wearing a plate carrier in this video, and with that plate carrier a little bit offset, so kind of, you know, it's a little easier to limp wrist it is where I'm going with that. The trigger and the action are most definitely not the fastest combos in the world. Nothing like a 1301 in speed. When you learn the trigger in this, it is a very, very fast shotgun. And honestly, it was not too far off. It was getting to be a little close to the 1301. You do have a rather heavy shotgun when I'm not trying to make this like a total comparison to the 1301, but the 1301 is very light, and that's where I think the felt recoil of the 1301 is a little bit more noticeable. In this case, the 930's got some weight to it. I got a bad peck on that side at a minor tear years ago, and I still am affected when I shoot shotguns. And in this case, even 200 rounds, majority being high brass buckshot, I did not have any issues in that area at all today. It actually was rather comfortable to shoot that much. So that really was interesting to me. As far as a negative that I saw at the range that something like the 1301 just does not have, this loading gate, very easy to get your finger stuck up in here. And it is actually pretty painful. It's not a pleasant thing to get your finger stuck in here. And the reason why I say that is you got to give it like an extra push to get that round in. If you don't, you'll inadvertently ghost load the shotgun. And there's not really a way to kind of clear that up other than losing a round out of the chamber and racking it again. So you really got to shove them in there. It's funny, I noticed this a lot more with dummy rounds at the house. And at the range with live fire and live ammunition, I didn't really have that issue. And I was wearing gloves out of a precaution to make sure that I would not pinch myself. And again, it was actually never an issue at the range. The bolt release here, I can see why people swap that out. It is a little bit, you got to be kind of like right on it to make sure that you hit it. When I first saw the whole breacher thing, I thought it was a little gooberish, right? I'm like, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of dumb. But then I started to kind of think about it, and a few of my buddies were telling me, Clint Smith was talking about this in a few of his videos. If if you were going after a lock, a deadbolt, that'd be great too. But also any sort of like soft tissue, on somebody that's trying to hurt you, you could absolutely pile drive this thing in there, and it is not going to give you a full obstruction in your barrel and burst the barrel itself. You could actually like straight up unload this thing in that close of a contact distance with this breaching device and not have any issues because of the holes around the device itself. So I started to realize that, and I'm like, you know, that's actually kind of cool. I actually don't mind that much when I think of it in that configuration. Now, if I were to buy this in stock setup, I would absolutely get this extension on here. I would not leave it flush. I want to say with the extension, you're working with about 7 rounds. This is where I'm like 60% serious in the title. My biggest gripe about the 1301 lately is not that it's a bad shotgun. The shotgun in and of itself is excellent. Beretta doesn't really make a bad shotgun. My main gripe is how freaking expensive even the A300s are getting right now. The 1301 is just not worth the price that it is coming out at. And when you look at this shotgun, or even an 1187, that 1187 I had out today with this thing was $250. Now that was a special deal. It's an SBS. They're harder to get rid of, etc. But you can find these things for like $500, $600 usually. And I don't know. I would much rather take like 2, Jesus, anymore, possibly 3 of these for one 1301. That's like, it would be no contest for me. I would much rather have this and like 5 cases of ammo for training. If the 1301 was coming in at $1,000, I would say no hesitation. That's a better shotgun without a doubt. But when something like this is coming in at a fraction of the price and doing the exact same thing, you just have to start kind of wondering, like, what is the hype of the 1301 all about? Again, it's not a bad shotgun, but that's just something worth noting. This is where I think the kind of TRT-fueled Instagram community has really ruined the gun thing these days, because it's nothing but people that are just showcasing their like thing to do on a cool reel that's like 30 seconds and do some like high-speed tactical shit in their video. And everyone and their mother's like, I need to have that right now. I need to have that exact same configuration. And that's where your prices come from with those 1301s. Meanwhile, the 930's sitting over here at like 500, and it's going to be very similar in overall speed, in my experience, to something like the 1301. So that's just total honesty from somebody who has their own money into both of these shotguns. So take that for what you will. I love this 930. And dare I say, it may now be one of my favorite shotguns that I own. I absolutely loved shooting this thing at the range. That is going to wrap up this first impressions video. If you guys have any other questions about this shotgun or anything else on the channel, throw them down below in the comment section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the ways to support the channel. And as always, stay tuned for more great content coming soon.